kind of came about because I think for some time I personally was looking for a challenge of some sort to put into my life. I found things like the Yukon River Quest, which is a big event with lots of people doing it.
It was the second longest paddleboard race in the world. We both kind of, I think, looked at each other and were like, well, if that's the second, what's the longest?
You know, if you're going to do something, might as well go for the big one.
There was nearly 2,000 applications for the 2020 Yukon 1000. My phone went off and I just saw the header, Yukon 1000 decision accepted. I think I messaged Skip.
Have you seen that we're in the Yukon?
40 were selected, and we are one of the 5 teams that are going to be attempting it on paddleboards.
The SUP is all about excitement, adventure, doing something as epic as this. You're pushing it to the extreme. You've got to push yourself just enough to be a little bit scared.
So we did a training paddle right at the outset, just to kind of gauge where we were. And we jumped on the river. Unfortunately for Craig, he cramped up rather badly.
Oh fuck, I'm literally locked up. Everything.
He was in all sorts of trouble.
Fucking cramp.
I'm a little bit ashamed to say that the only thing I could do was...
Excuse my laugh. Sorry, it's not right of me to laugh.
But that spurred me on. That made me think, what can I do to mitigate that and not let that happen again?
The whole purpose of doing that in the first place was to find out what we needed to do to get ourselves into shape and understand what could happen. And that was a really good learning for both of us, actually. I think what it actually did was make us think about how serious the challenge was and the preparation that it was going to take to be able to get through it.
In the end, we're going out doing 8, 9, 10-hour paddles nearly, only stopping really because we run out of river.
There's a lot that goes into the logistics, from mapping through to equipment and kit, and how you get that equipment and kit on the boards, what you need to take, because you can only take essentials because you're out there for 10 days, just you and your partner and your boards. I selected the right man to be my partner because Craig is very methodical and very into his technology and using that to our advantage, whereas I'm not. I'm a little bit more free-minded about stuff.
That ain't half bad. That is really nice.
As a pair, because we have these different approaches to things, we could bring skills together that benefited each other. We got to January of this year, having put in a fair amount of training. We headed off to the Glar in the French Alps, which is a race on Lake Annecy in the French Alps in the middle of winter, with about 600 paddlers on the water at one time. We drove down together. It gave us an opportunity to talk quite a lot. Ultimately, what we found from being there was that we were starting to get to a place physically and mentally that we could start to believe that actually completing the Yukon 1000 might be a possibility. And I was actually on that stretch of feeling like, yeah, we've got this. We'd booked our flights, we'd worked out which hotels we were staying in, we'd got all our kit together. We were in a place of, this is really happening. There's no backing out now. We're full steam ahead. Head down, train, understand, look at our processes, look at how we're going to look after each other through this event, and practice all of those things again and again and again. And we knew that 2020 was going to be an interesting year.
It feels like 2020 is going to be an interesting year.
But little did we know that it would turn out to be what it's turned out to be.
It was totally the right decision. There's far more important things in the world than a race. We're paddling into the middle of nowhere. We're passing through tiny, small Inuit communities that, they don't have healthcare systems. I don't want to be responsible for taking something somewhere like that. And I want to make sure that everyone we are going to be competing against can get there.
I've got another year to train and prepare and get better at this. And who knows, you know, we might even get there and not just take part, but compete. Please carry on supporting us, because we're going to go forward and we're going to do this, and it's going to be bigger and better than we thought it was going to be, because we have another opportunity to work on what we've already worked on. We all need a goal in life, why not make it a big one?